Anon's a Villain Again. Written by Yellowtail. A sequel to Anon's a Villain and Wins. Chapter 1. This is no ordinary electric boogaloo. Part 1. I look at my cease and desist letter from royalty. You're exiling me, I note. Princess Celestia sitting across from me nods.
Indeed, you've caused a financial scandal of a grand scale,
she says. But I literally gave everything back. Aside from a couple of legal businesses and properties that I either destroyed or liquidated, both physically and or financially. I say. She nods. This isn't because I forgot to get the miners out of the mines, is it?
No, they do that every so often on their own accord. But I can't just sit by knowing one of Equestria's most dangerous villains lives within its borders, capable of bringing us all to our knees again with a snap. So I took legal actions you understand and follow, she says. I am liable to have you taken to the dungeons for tax reasons.
To this, she takes out a note. It has a list of tax-related crimes. Well, I knew they would go after me with legal action, but I thought it'd be for psychological reasons. Either way, I can take a guess as to how they'll punish me, for which I already prepared. Nonetheless, I need to play a facade until it's too late for them. I huff. And what if I don't follow them? I ask.
The red dot on your forehead should tell you that,
Sussy says with a smirk. I freeze and look around. I can see Bones, my right-hand dog guard, looking at me. He nods. I look at her and snicker. You wouldn't. I'm interrupted by a loud bang and several windows breaking. I look down nervously to see several holes making an outline of my shadow. So, how do I proceed? I ask nonchalantly. Dusty unrolls another paper.
You are to liquidate everything in this castle, including the castle itself. Every bit of property you own will belong to...
Done, I say, signing my name quickly and giving her a smile. She freezes.
What did you do?
She asks. Why, I'm simply giving you everything I own in Equestria, if I sign this. Isn't that right? I ask, and she nods. Then that's what I did. Bones, who isn't wearing his usual armor but regular clothes, looks at me in awe as I get up. Celestia glares at me.
No, you did something. What did you do?
She yells. I give her a smile. Business practices for when a ship is sinking. I was never a business major, but I'm sure what I said is still truthful to a degree. I look at Bones. Round up the troops. We're moving.
Wait, hold on.
Celestia says as I start walking away.
Wait, you... Hold on.
She uses magic to stop me. What? I thought you wanted me gone, and to claim everything I've got. After all, expensive lawyers are expensive. The time it took to bring me to this point was a long wait. So what could possibly stop you? I ask.
We're allowing you to keep 5% of everything we take,
Celestia says.
You can use it to get out of this country and never return.
Thanks, but you can keep the spare change. I say. Celestia releases me, and I turn to smile at her. She did exactly what I thought she would.
Anon, what did you do?
Celestia presses. I already told you. Business practice. I say. Bones, now realizing what's going on, gives a laugh, drawing panic from Celestia. Now, Bones, tell everybody we're packing up. He laughs a bit more. Lord, can I give a hint? He asks. Sure, why not? I say, walking out of the throne table room. Bones looks at Celestia with a smug look. Notice my lord's massage chair isn't around? He asks. Without an answer, he walks out, yelling at guards to pack up. Celestia's eyes turn to pinpricks. She looks around the room and feels dread build up. A plastic chair was what I was sitting at the head of the table. Celestia looks up to see that there's no chandelier. In fact, now that she's looking more closely, she noticed how the walls look a bit flimsy. Rather odd considering they're stone walls. She squints and uses magic to poke a slab of stone. It's firm, but not as firm as stone should be. Wait, is that paint? Celestia looks down to notice the rug is kind of cheap looking. It's also really plain, Suddenly, it clicks to her as to what I had implied.
No.
She whispers. She gallops out of the room and looks around the castle at different rooms. They're all empty. The dungeons have been filled with dirt, and Celestia is sure I made them unusable. She keeps looking around and she realizes that there's very little value to this castle.
No, it'll be fine. There's still his properties away from the castle.
Celestia assures herself. However, little did she know, I liquidated all my properties as well. In fact, the only thing of real value is the table in the throne room. That was like 5,000 to 6,000 bits. The trick is, I need to escape Equestria before they revise the contract and force me to sign it. I guarantee you that one of those ponies just wanted me gone, and the money problems were an afterthought. The contract I signed exiles me, and I know for a fact since I could see the word exile and Equestria in the same sentence. Thus, once I fulfill this contract, I'll be out of the country and outside legal bounds. Sure, I was in trouble for tax purposes, but they thought that liquidating my assets would be enough to recover from it. Thus, they assumed it would be recovered from the contract I signed, which means the government has acknowledged that my debts are paid off via assets. If they try to force me to sign it outside of the country, the United Countries of the world would then have to retaliate against that. I sure hope Celestia tries, because it was funny when they were on their knees the first time. However, I don't think they're that stupid. However, my concerns are no longer about Equestria. I already booked passage to a different country for me and my personal army. I have an offshore account that houses all of my money, so I can just pull funds from that. The problem is, I no longer have a source of income, so I'm gonna have to come out of early retirement. Time to be a villain somewhere else. But where, one would wonder. Well, of course, I still want to mess with Equestria, but in a different way. And since the Crystal Empire is a close ally of theirs, why the fuck not? Celestia Nice rules there, so it's gonna be fun as hell. I hum as I snack on some bacon jerky next to Bones, who was going over plans. We're in a train cart, which is filled by almost 50 of my forces. There were 3 other twin carts filled with 50 diamond dogs. I'd say there are about 400 dogs in my forces, and I sent half of them ahead of time to establish a sort of base of operations, to lead them temporarily. I sent Wretch and Frank with them. Wretch is good with numbers, and Frank has the look of a spiteful old bat. In any case, I'm traveling with Bones, eating bacon jerky. On the other hand, Bones is establishing battle plans. So we may have to cut back for our budget, which means forces may or may not be under-equipped. Unless we could train for some of our staff to be medics. I say. My lord, you seem a little down today. Bones notes. I sigh. Well, it feels a bit too smooth. I say. Bones quirks an eyebrow. What does? He asks. This plan. This whole escape plan was my first plan, and I had like 2 backup plans. Now I can't use my backup plans. Do you have any idea how frustrating it is to have a backup plan that aren't even used because the first plan worked too well? I asked. No, sir. I don't. Bones replies. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. When we get to the Empire, I'm suddenly interrupted by the cart suddenly launching to the air. Bones' eyes widen as he realizes this and yells as I simply buckle my seatbelt. Odd how trains have seatbelts, but then again, this isn't a normal world. The cart lands with a crash and the windows let me see we're sliding along snowy ground. It appears my problem is resolved. Now I don't have any plans, period. I sarcastically remark to myself. Finally, the cart comes to a halt and I unbuckle myself. Time to see what the hell happened. I lean down, pat Bones' head as he pants in panic, and walk out of the cart's doors. Outside, I can see a series of large black crystals jutting out of the train tracks, piercing through the various train carts. My guard dogs all bumble around, trying to find their bearings. I frown. This looks like competition. Wait, you're not ponies. A distorted voice yells. I look up to see a gray and black unicorn standing on top of a floating black crystal. I point at him and launch some lightning. However, he notices the flash and quickly brings up a shield. Pitiful creature. Can't you see? I pull out my gun and shoot him. I still have too many rubber bullets, so I'm not wasting them. This time, he isn't prepared and yells in pain while holding his head. The crystal he was floating on falls, crashing in front of me. Do you have any idea how much this trip costed? I asked. Do you have any idea how costly it is to move an entire headquarters? I yell. The unicorn groans, getting up. I shoot again, but he brings up a black crystalline shard to protect himself. Then the crystal snaps and cracks into millions of pieces, which point towards me. Uh-oh. I furrow my brow and bring up my hands as millions of tiny shards rush towards me. I bring up a magical shield which is able to stop the shards. I let down my shield and watch as the pieces fall to the ground.
Do you have any idea who you're messing with?
Unicorn asks, his eyes turning into green and red, with purple mist coming out.
No, but I know you're going to be expensive competition.
I growl. By now the diamond dogs are surrounding us, watching in nervousness. Unicorn looks around and smirks.
Hear me, mutts. My name is King Sombra. I issue a challenge to your leader,
He says.
A battle for your loyalty.
My lord, don't accept. Bones yells from the crowd. I see a lot of my forces glancing around. I don't question their loyalty, not one bit. However, I am pissed off because the train ride was really expensive. I slowly look back to the prideful unicorn. Rather bold of you to assume you're a king. I call out. Sombra scoffs.
Bold of you to assume you're better,
He remarks. He's not going to back down. I can see in his eyes. Good. However, I can't do this duel now. I'm underprepared.
I'll accept, but I propose we each prepare.
I say.
Oh? Afraid?
Sombra asks.
I didn't take over Equestria by showing my ass.
I growl.
You taking over Equestria? Preposterous.
Sombra laughs. He drops his grin as he looks at me.
To take over Equestria, you need control over their irritating princesses.
Buddy, I had the rulers in the palm of my hand. I say.
Don't be ridiculous.
He snarls. Either way, I would like to prepare for this duel you're suggesting. I say.
Very well. Tomorrow, we shall battle in the middle of the Crystal Empire,
Sombra announces. I nod to this. Sombra turns around and walks off into the field of snow. Bones comes up behind me.
My lord, what are we to do?
He asks. Gather the equipment, take what's not broken, and march into our new base. I say. If we can get there quick enough, we can prepare far more than him. Near the edge of the Crystal Empire, there's a gated-off area full of warehouses. Of course, this is my base of operations. I calmly walk into one of the warehouses, eyeing the progress my troops are making. We've had to go under the budget I had laid out. I mean, that's always the goal for me. But this was more than I had expected. Apparently, bits are a bit inflated in the Crystal fucking Empire. I really shouldn't have trusted that dated economics book. So, for now, my guards are equipped with less than agreeable bronze. It's hella strong, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't look as intimidating as iron. I mean, come on. What do you think of when you think of bronze? Pennies? The Statue of Liberty? I swear to God I'm gonna force the economy to go down when I get my hands on those. Sir! Bones yells, making me jump. What? I yell back. Bones winces.
I was just coming to ask, why are we preparing for a takeover?
He asks.
I thought we had to deal with competition first.
Well, I could wait. Or, I could go ahead and nab all those resources, secure fundings and finances, and best of all, rub it into that stupid face of that bastard.
Isn't that cheating?
Bones asks. I'm a villain. Why in the holy fuck would I care? I ask.
Hey, boss.
Frank yells, making Bones and I jump. Oh, what now, you lobotomization failure? I yell. He points out the door. I groan and walk over to it. I peek out and throw it open as what I see disgusts me to my very core. Outside, the castle is covered in dark crystals. Hordes of ponies are marching, wearing the goofiest looking helmets with the green goggles I have ever seen. At the top of the crystalline tower sits a golden throne with... oh, that motherfucker. He fucking cheated! I yell in fury.
Citizen.
A robotic voice calls. I look over to see armored crystal ponies wearing the same goofy-ass helmets.
You are required to...
I zapped them to a crisp, causing them to all fall over. I guess I'm taking care of this now. If I'm taking care of it now, I'd better suit up. I remark. As I walk back in, Bones runs up.
My lord, it might take me a bit to gather the troops to...
No, this is really personal now. Just make sure the troops are ready to take over the Empire. I say.
What? What if you lose?
Bones asks. I stop and look back at him. You'll know what to do. I remark. With that, I walk away and get ready, ignoring the prying eyes of my underlings as they see my angry demeanor. Trying to catch up with my series once again after multiple setbacks. However, I'm glad to finally get into the sequel of, I believe, Maverick's request. He requested not only Anon's a villain, but also the requesting sequels, which is only fair for Titan tier. That aside, however, I would like to thank my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, Squall, Windfeather, Rainflicker, Starlight Blaze, Dreamless Portal, and Redeemer of Dark. Chase Lemaster, Swordbrother and Mordred, Danish Dash, Night and Game, DJMX 2000, Endless, Solus, RD Bryant, Captain Blueshadow, Nocturne, HKH4, AK Texture, The Animated Ghost, and Can Panzer. And of course, a large thank you to my Titan tiers, Dark Guardian, the requester of this series, Maverick, and Silent Titan. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and it means so much to me. That aside, however, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.